Hi everyone! So it has been a little while, but it is time for my Pan That palette update with the Anastasia Mario palette. We are in November, but thankfully I'm really close to being done because I do not want this to go into 2019. So as of my last update, I had 4 shadows left and now I have 3, and one of them looks remarkably different. I made a Franken shadow, which is something that I was planning to do with Claudia, the navy blue shade, for a long time, and just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off until finally I sat down and I said, let's do this. Let's make this happen. And you can also see I have a little bit of pan on Lula, baby pan, and I finished Isabel, the matte orange shade, and I've expanded the pan on Violetta, the brown. But let's talk about Claudia because I really disliked this shadow. It's not that the formula was bad per se, but navy eyeshadow is just something I use as an accent, not something that I use a lot of. I did a couple of like really deep, dark blue smoky eyes, which I really enjoyed, but I just wasn't getting the use out of the shadow because it's just not something that I reach for like on a daily basis. So I decided to make another Franken shadow, which is something that I've done quite a bit with Pan That palette. It has really been very helpful. Now this idea came from someone who commented, so thank you very much for the person who did. I couldn't find the comment to go back and credit them, but thank you for reminding me, because even though I've Franken shadowed other shadows in this palette already, I just hadn't thought about it with Claudia. There's sometimes with certain shadows it's like it doesn't even enter my mind as a possibility. So I just decided to mix Claudia with a yellow gold shade because I thought I would get a lot of use out of a green because I really love green shadows. I've been wearing green a lot. And so I thought, why not mix it with a yellow gold shadow, because I don't really like yellow gold. So I immediately thought of my Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and actually the shade Chocolate Gold, which is a beautiful shadow. And you can see I've taken out a big chunk of this shade now for mixing into this, but that's fine because I really just don't like it on me on its own. I just feel like it really doesn't flatter my skin tone, yellow golds. But being able to mix that deep blue with the yellow gold came up with a beautiful green shade. So I'll show you a swatch from when I had created it, because I actually swatched from what was remaining in the cup I used. I used a cup that was way too big. If you're ever mixing shadows, repressing, remixing, whatever you're doing with it, try and use a really small cup. I didn't have a small one, so I had to use a large one, and it just didn't work because the product kept sticking to the side of the cup and I couldn't get it to pour somewhat easily into the pan. Like, it was definitely a struggle. I've done this Franken shadow stuff before, but it has been a while, and I should have looked a little harder for a little bit of a smaller container to mix in. But anyway, this is the swatch, so you can see how beautifully shimmery it is. When I broke up Claudia, you could really see more shimmer in it. And then of course, Chocolate Gold is a beautiful metallic with a lot of little glitter in it, and it's just so beautiful. So I am wearing that Claudia Franken shadow on my lid right now. I just sort of slapped this on, as I pretty much always do with my makeup. I'm just using Claudia. I'm using Paper Tiger from ColourPop and one of the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments, the deep green one. That's the only shadows I'm using besides a little glitter in my inner corner. So it's a very simple look. Most of my looks tend to be fairly simple, and with this palette especially, everything is really simple because this is mostly my day-to-day palette, or was, except for when I was playing with other things, which you guys might know Natasha Denona might have stolen my heart a little bit, so I've been using that more often. But I'm trying to incorporate the remaining shades in this palette whenever possible. So with Violetta, the beautiful deep brown shade, I haven't used it in any other way than what I've talked about before, which is basically just a deepening shade, something in the outer corner to give a little bit extra depth depending on what other shadows I'm using. And Lula, I've actually been using a little bit all over my entire lid. When I want something that's a little bit more cool toned, I've been putting Lula all over my lid, and then I might take a little tiny bit of Violetta in the outer corner and then some black or gray eyeliner and just kind of smoke it all out. and that's paired with like a deep cool toned lip color has been something that I've really enjoyed wearing for the fall time. It's just something like a little bit different, something that I could use with this palette that's still simple enough for me to do on a daily basis. I've used my Franken Claudia shadow already 3 times because I really like it. Fortunately, I do have some other green shadows that are very, very similar to this, so it's not going to be that heartbreaking when it's finished, but I'm thankful that I'm going to be able to use Claudia in a good way, in a way that suits me. And that's the thing with Pan That Palette, is that you can really customize things and make something that wouldn't work for you work for you. I absolutely didn't have to do this because I have other shadows that would work for this purpose, but it helps me to use it up, and it's just like an exercise in creativity, which is just fun. That's one thing that I always try and stress here, is that it should be fun. If you're not having fun panning an eyeshadow, if you're not having fun using your makeup, try something else. Like, don't force yourself to use something that's not fun. You can see how beat up this palette is too. It has definitely seen a workout. I'm gonna try and cover the mirror up, but look at like the inside of the palette. It's so abused. I tried to clean it a little bit because so many people get so angry about my dirty eyeshadow palette, but I spent like 15 minutes trying to clean up the pans, and it's definitely cleaner than it was, but it's not like pristine clean, so it's as good as it's gonna get, because next month it's gonna be in the garbage because I will not be using this anymore, and when it's empty, it's gone. So that's my thoughts on that. But anyway, I feel like I am in a really good place to finish this up. My Franken Claudia shadow should probably only last me about a week if I wear it every day, and I can definitely see myself wearing it every day. Violetta will be pretty easy to finish as well. Even if I just do a couple of like dark brown smoky eyes, that will be really easy to finish up. Lula might cause me a little bit of a problem, but if I'm not finished Lula in December, I will be getting rid of whatever is remaining, or so I say right now. You know, if I have like a couple of days uses left, I will force myself to use it, but I'm just gonna try and force myself. What did I say about having fun with makeup? I'm gonna try and use those 3 shadows up in the next month. I really think I can do it in 4 weeks so that I will be finished in December, but it's not a big deal anyway because I'm not even doing Pan That Palette next year. I am fully taking a break from this particular panning project. As I've mentioned before, I will still be doing other eyeshadow related things, and I will be using a lot of what I have and revisiting the things in my collection, but I'm not specifically focusing on panning anything for an entire year because it's just way too much of my time that's focused on one particular thing when I have so many other things. So, all right, I think that about covers it, except for, did I even mention Isabel? I didn't mention Isabel, the orange shade. I was like, there's something's missing here. So the Isabel, the orange shade, I used that up mostly by pairing it with L'Ombre, I believe that's how it's pronounced, from the Naked Heat palette. So this is actually in my Project Pan Porn, which I have to update probably 2 months ago. Oops. But this shimmery shade here, you can see it. I'm just, spoilers, I guess. There's L'Ombre there. You can see the pan in it. It's this beautiful, reflective, almost rose gold shade, and I would put that all over my lid, and then Isabel running through my crease and like underneath my eye and everything, and have this really beautiful warm shimmery eye, so I could go back and forth between something a little bit cooler and something really, really warm, and I really enjoyed using it. Isabel is a really pretty shade. I love that kind of color orange. I just don't like the Anastasia mattes because they're really soft, and I get a lot of fallout, and I find that they're kind of difficult to blend evenly, and I've been trying to work on my blending despite what some people might say. On that note, I am going to be avoiding my comment section for a little while just to take a little break. Please know that I still love and appreciate you so much. I'm just also trying to love and appreciate myself a little bit, so I just need to take a step or 2 back for a little while. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope I will see you soon. Bye for now.